What's up, everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're looking to get your music reviewed, you can hit up this email that's right here. But today I'm going to hit you up with my thoughts and opinions on this new album from Quelle called Guns. Now, based on what I've read, Quelle is a rapper who was born in New York, but he came up in Detroit, and I am fully ready to admit that I have been sleeping on his music. People have tried to put me up on him in the past, and maybe I just didn't hear the right songs that reached me. I've also seen his projects get critically acclaimed, but for whatever reason, I was sleeping and his music slipped through the cracks for me. But thankfully I wasn't sleeping on this project, and I'm going to have to go back and look through his discography because I very clearly think this is a contender for Album of the Year. Now, as the title and the album cover suggests, this project is going to deal with a lot of guns. I know, shocking analysis, this is why you watch me do what I do. Starting off with the song Spray and Pray. There's a clip on here on the end that really stuck with me because it's someone speaking about how people are just so actively killing people over basically no reason, who even knows why, and that is something we see happening all the time, so that clip really stuck with me. I also like the way this instrumental grooves very slowly and eases us into the album, and the title of this song really makes me think about the whole thoughts and prayers thing. You know how it goes, whenever there's a mass shooting or some sort of tragedy, what do we get? We get these thoughts and prayers and no real action. The title also makes me think of the marriage between guns and religion, most notably Christianity within the United States, so these are just my interpretations of this song and this album as I review it. So I could be completely wrong with what I'm saying, but these are some interesting things I picked up on right from the start. Now, moving on to the title track, Guns, this gets even more into America's obsession with guns because Chris is speaking on how people can learn to shoot innocently enough at a young age. Maybe they're out back shooting at cans or learning from their uncle, but then you have these other extreme instances where people are actually doing school shootings. There's also a line where he says that guns are more patriotic than pie. So overall, this was a very thought-provoking song to me, and right out of the gate, this album had me interested, man. There's a lot of deep stuff on here to pick at, so I'm sure you could pick at it longer and longer, but I feel comfortable talking about it now because I really do love what's happening. I also gotta point out that the piano production and smooth singing on this are very nice, so I did like this song sonically. It wasn't just the content, it was the overall sound, and just all these ideas of the normalization of guns and gun violence really stuck with me throughout this project. I feel like this is a project we need. The lyricism is great, and we see all the stuff that's going on in the United States, so I definitely commend Chris for speaking on these issues. Now, one song that really stuck with me even more, I'm gonna say songs are sticking with me through this whole review because that's just how it is, man. This shit really hit me. The song Sunday Mass, where Bilal Salam is actually breaking down all these mass shootings that have happened in the United States within the past little while. It's really crazy because it's so hard to keep track of these shootings. I remember being at work some days and somebody would be like, "Oh man, did you hear about that shooting that happened?" And we'd be like, "Which one do you mean?" Because there were 2 or 3 within the past week or 2. Like, it's become very hard to keep up to date with it. Very, very sad what's going on in the United States. And I know there's stuff going on all over the world. I'm not trying to single y'all out, but that just seems like what the focus of this project is. So that's something that stuck with me. And Chris even uses a very infamous Trump quote about how he said he could shoot someone in broad daylight in the street and it wouldn't even matter. Nothing would happen. And this all keeps with that normalization of guns, the theme that we're getting on this project. You're going to hear that on Mind Your Business and It's the Law. These are the songs that make use of that clip, so I thought it was very dope how he tied that in. And Mind Your Business has this really nasty beat and snarling flow from Chris as he's rapping like he's some sort of gangster who's out on the block. So you are getting these different perspectives of how people view guns, different neighborhoods, people out in the country, like I said, shooting at cans, learning from their uncle. This instance on this song seems to be a street dude who's doing his thing, and he spits that. He runs game with the genie, no cheat code, so naturally I had to bring this to show you this here, man. You kids don't know anything about this shit when you had to put those codes in. How hard it was to get this to work, man, it was not easy. Getting a Nintendo cartridge to work in the first place was tough, but with this thing, it was a whole other thing. So, you know, I do appreciate him bringing those gaming nerd references as well. That was really dope. And while the shuffling drums on It's the Law made the beat feel kind of off and cluttered to me, like that's just my opinion, I just wasn't a big fan of this beat, there's still great content on this, man. When Chris spits, from under the ship to behind the truck to the back of the bus, now we making it or going back where we was, progress is a long road, so buckle up. There goes me, Luke James, butchering people's rhymes by not making them sound good, but just reading them so you know what he's saying. And this was a great line because he's just speaking on how despite how far black people have come, the way shit is going now, it sometimes feels like we're falling back because racism is almost more accepted now. We're seeing it much more open within the media, on social media. You know, there's just all kinds of fuckery that's going on in the world right now. So this project does a great job of speaking on all kinds of things that are going on, not just guns, but some other social commentary about issues that are plaguing the entire world, really, but most specifically the United States. Very dope song, very dope project. And despite all this content getting very deep, I still found that there's a lot of accessibility here with some of these tracks. You got Straight Shot. This is a very soulful, uplifting joint with thoughtful reflections on it. You're also getting beautiful vocals and soft piano on this beat, so it's another song that I liked sonically. You, Me, and Nobody Else is a groovy R&B lace joint featuring Jean Grey on the vocals, another smooth and nice track. And of course, I gotta shout out Jonathan Horde, he's singing on that track as well. Great vocals, Jonathan. And Obamacare is an all-out banger, man. I saw the video for this and I loved it automatically. That was one of the songs that actually drew me into this project. There are all kinds of great lines on here as well, man. He's making more of those fun references. When he's saying that he's got reach like Doc Ock's arms, he's making rappers freeze up like Zach in Bayside. I mean, I'm always here for a Saved by the Bell reference. And while we're talking about Saved by the Bell, I gotta make something clear, man. That time him and AC Slater fought, that was all-out bullshit. Because I think we all know Slater would have mocked him, man. They made that shit look way too even. Slater would have picked him up, gave him a fucking tombstone pile driver or a powerbomb and been done with it, man. There's no way Zach is gonna be out here hanging with him. I ain't saying Zach is an all-out bitch and a slouch. I'm just saying AC Slater would have definitely fucked him up. So another favorite song of mine, I'm basically just all over the place here and running down the tracks because that's how I do. I like Box of Wheaties, very dreamy production while Chris is boasting about being on a box of Wheaties, just like so many athletes and celebrities have been in the past. And I love the buttery smooth verse here from Denmark Vesey. This is an artist who I'm not overly familiar with, so I'm gonna have to go through his work as well. But he's got some funny bars on here, like when he spits, subscription to Rich Nigga Monthly with Shad Moss on the cover, limited edition, just a very fun and light track. He also references that classic Jadakiss bar on We Gon' Make It where he says his walls do a 360, whatever the fuck that means. I don't even know. I guess he lives in like the Get Smart house or some shit. He got his walls spinning around, maybe uncovering stuff. And the last track I'm going to speak on is Wyrm, or Will You Remember Me. I thought this was a very fitting way to wrap up the album because this one gets more personal and it just has Chris reflecting on his legacy, life, and death. My favorite line on this song is when he spits, "I can recreate anything that these niggas claiming is too legit. It would only make me the same as what I aim to shift." So I just took that as him very clearly saying that it is easy to manufacture this rap that we're getting today. You know how it is, man. I talk about it all the time in my reviews, how generic and formulaic rap is, but he doesn't want to do that because he'd rather shift the culture and bring positive change and just a different sound. He references a couple times on this project how people say he's weird, kind of nerdy or whatever. You know, there's Dungeons and Dragons references on here too. I definitely fuck with that. I like my paladins and clerics, by the way. But you know what? That's why he sticks out. And that's part of why I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 5, man. I think his personality really shines through. I love his vocal stylings throughout here. Sometimes he's gruff, sometimes he's bringing smoother styles, and the flows and lyricism are just all on point. I really don't have too many complaints, man. The production is varied as well. You're getting some smoother cuts on here. Even Wild Minx with Mac Homie fits that mold as it has a bit of a lo-fi sound to it. So that's how it goes, man. I know I'm looking at my notes a lot, but there's just so much to unpack with this. I wanted to make sure I said most of what I wanted to say. I think I got most of it. You guys will let me know in the comment section, I'm sure. But anyway, hit me up in the comments, like I just said. Let me know how you feel about this project. Do you love it? I certainly did. It's going to be on my year-end list for sure. Very high up there. Make sure you do all that good YouTube and social media stuff, people, where you show me love and you show me lots of it. Thank you for watching, everybody. I will see you next time.